Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sergey and I'm the owner of NinaVova Custom Jewelry. We make custom engagement rings and wedding bands here in Los Angeles. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a very important topic, the fundamental topic. And this is what makes a good engagement ring, how you can actually pick one. Because when you start shopping, doesn't matter online or you're going from one shop to another, you're probably going to get confused very quickly whether it's a good engagement ring or it's not. And when you would try to look at the whole picture altogether, you probably will be even more confused. So what I did over here, pretty much as always, I broke down everything into the pieces, into the different subtopics. And we're gonna go quickly through each and every one. Of course, there is more information about it, and you can find a lot of the helpful videos on my channel over here. But today we want to cover it pretty quickly so you know the basics. First things that I want to start with the weight of the engagement ring. Because your engagement ring, that's primarily made out of metal, of course, and it's holding the stone over there, the center stone, maybe the side stones as well. And what you want to make sure that there is enough metal in your engagement ring. What do I mean by that? There's lots of engagement ring out there, especially on marketplaces, that are weighed about like 1 gram or so. They are very tiny, very elegant and everything like that. And that might be a good choice as the fashion jewelry, let's say the one that you would wear on a vacation or something like that. But since we're talking here about engagement rings, you want to make sure that this is the durable piece, that the person can wear it on a daily basis without being afraid that it's going to break. And also there is enough metal to hold your center stone and maybe the side stones as well. What is a normal weight if we're talking about the numbers? Well, it's all going to depend on the design, of course. The engagement ring, as far as I'm talking about our designs, for example, if we're talking about the simple solitaire engagement ring, that's probably going to go about like 2 grams or so. In engagement ring, especially the complicated pieces, they can go all the way up to like 5 grams or so, and of course depending on the design. But if you're looking online in the engagement ring and in the weight section, you see the 1 gram engagement ring. Unless it's a very tiny size and a very tiny stone, and then usually the weight is out there, does not include the weight of the center stone, I would probably avoid that engagement ring because it simply cannot be durable. And the other thing I want to also add about here about the weight is the weight of your center stone. Make sure you know what you're looking for, because sometimes in the description, when it says the weight of the center stone, other stores can put the total carat weight. And when you will see the prices, you will be pleasantly surprised and you will be like, oh, hey, here's the 1.5 carat engagement ring, but in reality, it's the total weight of all the stones together. And it cannot be compared with the carat weight of the single stone. But anyway, that's the topic for the different video. Let's keep going on the next one. The next thing, of course, after we talked about the metal, is how the jeweler actually working with the metal. So you want to look at the quality of the metal work, of the quality of the alloy. Of course, if you're not a jeweler, you cannot just magically teach yourself and figure out whether it's a good job or not. But what you can do, you can actually look at the basis. Is it perfectly symmetrical engagement ring? If it should be symmetrical, of course. Can you see the gaps between the different pieces, let's say between the gallery and the shank of the ring? And the gallery, that's the one that holds the stone, and the shank of the ring, that's the round part. Can you see the gaps there? What is the quality of the polishing and things like that? If you look to the side of the engagement ring, is it perfectly straight and things like that. How the prongs looks like, are they identical, are they turned to the same direction, are they again symmetrical one to another? All of the things usually pretty noticeable, and actually even without the magnifier glass, nowadays you can just grab your phone and put your camera in like a 10x magnifier, and you can easily see all of these things. And here's the trick: if one of these things not made right, that indicates that the entire ring might have other flaws, because it's not like the jeweler would take care of 6 things out of 7 and will forget about the one single one. No, it's usually not like that. If the jeweler making the job properly, he would make absolutely everything is perfect. And that's a specific about jewelry market as well, because you better not to do the ring at all and just keep the order completely if you're not sure whether you can actually implement it or not. Because if you made it badly, the word's going to spread and you might lose the client. So that's not a good idea at all for the jeweler. Oh, and the one more thing I also forgot. When you're looking at the ring, especially if it's visible from the bottom side, you don't want to see this like little black spots, or you don't want to see the air bubbles or things like that. That just means that alloy wasn't made properly. So this ring might break actually very easily. So you definitely want to avoid that. So after you got your metal, after you making sure that there's enough metal and everything, and the jeweler worked properly with this metal, what you want to make sure, as I mentioned previously, you want to make sure that the prongs made absolutely perfectly. They are symmetrical one to another. They are the right side. They're not too small. They're not too big. They made actually properly. And again, you just can use your phone to magnify the prongs and see how good they are made, because it's very, very important thing. And the importance of it is kind of obvious because it's going to hold your precious center stone. You don't want to lose it. And the only thing that holds the center stone and side stone, of course, that's the prongs. Next thing, stone setting. In this, over here, you can easily notice one thing. You can easily notice whether center stone set too high, too low, or it's actually set properly. Unless you specifically want to have the high setting, and you might want to have it in a certain designs to make your center stone to look bigger. But at the certain designs, it's probably not a good idea. Let's say if you're making a solitaire engagement ring, it's probably not going to be a good idea, because then the ring would spin quite a lot. Also, you don't want your center stone to be set too low, because again, your center stone would look smaller, and it's just not going to look pleasant in a certain ways. But at the same time, in very specific custom orders, for example, the one that we did with the emerald diamond with the Art Deco setting, we set a stone very, very low, just because the person who's going to wear this ring, she's also wearing the gloves. So unless you have the very specific request like that, your stone should be set in the middle. And again, I have the separate video actually about this topic when I'm talking about whether your stone should be set high or low. Here, you primarily want to look at this because you want to make sure that the setting is made specifically for you, specifically for your size and for your center stone. Because on the opposite side, and that's very common with the chain jewelry store, and sometimes even with the small jewelry stores as well, for the simple designs like solitaire, like the common designs, they would order the settings somewhere else, so they are pre-made. And when you choose the center stone, they would just put the stone there. Sometimes sometimes it's working out, but usually it doesn't work out properly. The setting and the prongs should be made specifically for the center stone. Almost always in hello settings, hidden hello or just hello settings, that's the 100% rule. And again, that's a separate video because there's tons of stuff to talk about there. But if you make in hello engagement ring, remember that your settings should be made specifically for your center stone, and all of your stones should be matching in colors and sizes and things like that. The next thing is if you working directly with the jeweler, then you're probably solving all of the problems we talked about it. Because again, the professional who is staying on the market for a very long time, he is taking care of his reputation, and he would make sure himself that all of these boxes are checked. And if you have that in your case, then you have much higher chance of getting very beautiful and rightly made, even if it's a word, like beautifully made engagement ring. That's what I wanted to say. On the opposite side, what you can have a huge corporation, you can have the salesperson, and you don't know how knowledgeable this person is about your specific engagement ring, whether this person is knowledgeable as the jeweler. Of course, it can be absolutely nice person, absolutely beautiful person, but the thing is, you buying the jewelry piece and you wanted to buy it from someone who's actually know how it's made, who would not promise you something that is impossible to make, and then would go and just go around the compromises. You want to make sure that you're talking with someone who has an experience. And again, if you choosing to go that route, most likely, like very highly, like there's a huge chances that you're going to make your engagement ring right. Next thing is you want to make sure that stones are matching. And I mentioned previously that it's a very crucial thing for the hello engagement ring, but also what I want to highlight over here, you're not only making sure that your stones are matching, you also want to make sure what you actually paying for. What stones are you actually choosing? For example, for the past few years, it's become popular to have the opal engagement ring, right? And some people buying this as their first engagement ring, some people buying them as the second engagement ring to wear on a special occasion and things like that. But here's the thing, the opal, the 1 carat or 2 carat opal can cost $50, or it can cost like $700. What you want to make sure when you buy the engagement ring, that you educate yourself on the topic, that not by any chance you becoming like a professional gemologist or a professional at this specific stone, but you want to make sure that you know the difference between the $50 opal and like a $700 opal for sure. Same goes for the sapphires, for the rubies, for emeralds and things like that. The price can vary dramatically, and you want to make sure that you know the difference between the stone. I have the few videos about different stones. Other jewelers probably might have the videos about that specific gemstones, but you want to make sure that you educate yourself on that. And today is with YouTube, it's really easy and fun to do. But also you want to make sure that your stones are matching by quality as well. If you're doing like a 3-stone engagement ring or something like that, you can actually see that in our reviews for the engagement ring that we made. Watch them, and we have one with opal, we have one with a sapphire, and you would see that I'm mentioning how crucial it is to make sure that the stones are matching. And same for the last engagement ring that we did with a hidden halo. I'm talking about matching halo diamonds around the gallery. So watch this one, you'll understand what I mean. And the last thing, you want to make sure where is your money goes. You can simply ask that question when you buy the engagement ring. You want to make sure how much is your stones cost, how much is your setting cost, and things like that. Of course, you should be aware that the jeweler want to make some money as well, so there's a profit in all of that and things like that. Also, you want to keep in mind that the brand sometimes costs the money, and if we're talking about, let's say, Tiffany or Cartier or something like that, it is absolutely normal to pay 3-4 times more for the same engagement ring that you can buy somewhere else because of the brand, because of the huge history of that specific brand. But what you want to avoid this beautifully looking great deals at the mall somewhere there, like here's the engagement ring with a 15% sale and things like that. And this guys actually usually put in the signs like, oh, the 2 carat, and they forgot to mention that it's actually not 2 carat center stone. It's a 2 carat total weight of the stone. They would just put a bunch of small stones around the ring that would add to the total carat weight of the ring and things like that. So what you want to do, you want to avoid this kind of things. You just want to make sure that you're not just going for the good deal because they called it that way. You want to make sure that you know how much is that this stone is actually cost, how much is the center stone is actually cost, and how much all of the things cost together, and whether you paying the fair price or you overpaying. And if you're willing to overpay for the brand, you want to make sure that you're doing this with full awareness. That's a very important thing. So, and I think that was the last thing. Of course, there's many more aspects, but I thought this one is the most obvious and simpler one to get. And after you will be able to figure out all of that, you would choose the specific type of your engagement ring, and you would dive deeply, as I mentioned with the opal, for example. And as soon as you choose your jeweler, you will be able to dive deeper into your specific engagement ring. You will be able to learn about the specific rose gold, let's say, that you chose. And again, I have the separate video about it. You would dive deeper into the world of beautiful sapphires, and you will be able to understand the difference between the inexpensive one and a very expensive one, and things like that. But in order to start, that's, I think, what you should know about engagement ring. Thank you guys so much for watching and being patient. I know I haven't uploaded, as I promised, all of this videos. Unfortunately, it takes a while. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm very glad you're here. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very soon.